Welcome. From Matthew chapter 5, your salt, your light, and just a little note, the you in the text is always plural. English doesn't have a separate you and you plural, but it's you group of people. And then Jesus goes on to talk about the law being fulfilled in him. Let's look at our text. From Matthew 5:13 to 20. You are the salt of the earth. But if the salt loses its saltiness, how can it be made salty again? It's no longer good for anything except to be thrown out and trampled underfoot. You are the light of the world. A city built on a hill cannot be hidden. Neither do people light a lamp and put it under a bowl. Instead, they put it on its stand and it gives light to everyone in the house. In the same way, let your light shine before others, that they may see your good deeds and glorify your Father in heaven. Do not think that I've come to abolish the law or the prophets. I've not come to abolish them, but to fulfill them. For I tell you, truly, until heaven and earth disappear, not the smallest letter, not the least stroke of a pen will by any means disappear from the law until everything is accomplished. Therefore, anyone who sets aside one of the least of these commands and teaches others accordingly will be called least in the kingdom of heaven. But whoever practices and teaches these commands will be called great in the kingdom of heaven. For I tell you, unless your righteousness surpasses that of the Pharisees and the teachers of the law, you will certainly not enter the kingdom of heaven. So there's Jesus and strong teaching. And he says, I've come to fulfill the law. And Lutherans have this sort of not quite paranoia, but paradoxical way of looking at things. And Luther was big on law and gospel, two different ways in which God talks to us. So the law is basically the commandments. It's about what to do, how to please God and show love and respect to others, and how do we live together in community in a way that works. So we're not killing, we're not ripping other people off, etc. But then there's a deeper meaning, which Paul certainly was very big on. The law is meant to then also confront us with what's going on in our hearts. We can look good on the outside, but it's what's happening in our hearts. And Jesus was very big on that, as we'll come to see in a minute. And so law, if we're focused on that, eventually we have to say, I can't do it. And it'll show up in two ways. Either we're full of ourselves and, oh, look how amazing I am, look how good I am, and blech, everyone else can see it and doesn't like it, or we just collapse in a virtual heap. Get caught up in despair. I can't. I don't have a pure heart. I don't have good thoughts. I can't get this right. I'm a mess. But then that's still being caught up in ourselves. The whole point of this is to push us beyond our own ability to fix ourselves and to push us into the welcoming, empowering arms of Christ. And the good news is, Jesus says, I've got you, I forgive you, I'm setting you free now to not obsess about how you are with God the Father, with me. You're okay, we've got you. So I want you to forget yourself and get about on showing love to others. No constant self-obsession. And remember, we said this is to you, plural, you group. So this whole Christian life is never a solemn solo effort. So Jesus says, I've come to fulfill the law. And by that he means not only the Ten Commandments, but the whole teaching of the law in the first 5 books of Moses. But just before this, in chapter 5, Jesus sits down on a mountaintop and he brings a new teaching, the Beatitudes. Blessed are you when you're poor in spirit, when you're grieving, when you've been ripped off and you can't sort it out, you have to rely on God, you're blessed. Doesn't feel that way, but Jesus says you're blessed. And then he says, when you get angry with your brother, that's actually breaking the commandment about not killing someone. You haven't literally killed someone, but you're so angry with someone, you hate them, or you're saying bad, difficult words, or thinking derogatory labels about them. Commandments also show what's going on in the heart, and Jesus certainly does that. So it's a sign that we need to work on reconciliation. And then looking lustfully, we might never do the wrong thing and people feel safe around us, but looking lustfully is breaking that commandment in the heart. So Jesus says no cheap divorce, and then no swearing of oaths in God's name. I'm going to do this and I swear on the temple or God's altar or whatever. Just get over yourself. Just simply say yes or no and then follow through so that people rely on you keeping your word. You don't have to back it up with elaborate appeal to God. And Jesus says, you were taught, love your neighbor, hate your enemies, but I say, love your enemies. And here's the new teaching from Jesus that fulfills what was in the law. God the Father also loves enemies and cares about them. So you show love for your enemies and pray for them. So the law is fulfilled by Jesus. And he comes to each one of us and he says, I'm connecting you to me and I'm connecting you to others. Forget your individual performances. And remember, I went to the cross for you. I've taken on all the evil or the difficult or dark stuff inside you, and that's also done to you. And I'm leading you into Easter light and Easter life. I had a birthday this week, and my son and daughter-in-law were really excited to find this card in Kmart of all places. Once upon a time, a very special person was born who was destined to change the world, and you open up the card and this is what it says. Calm down, it's not you, it's Jesus. I think he'd want you to have a happy birthday though. As Christians, we focus on Jesus and not on ourselves. And that's a precious and powerful new life. So Jesus says, you are salt. You're designed to be sprinkled around. You're designed to add flavor to other people's lives. You're designed, and I'm using you to bring out the subtleties in other people, encourage them, support them. You're salt. You together are salt. And remember, in the ancient world, salt was also a preservative, and it's still absolutely essential for life. We need to have the right balances of sodium, potassium in our bloodstream for us to be alive and to work. Then Jesus says, you're light. You together. And that light's not designed to be covered over or hidden away. It's to help others see, and it's to point to Jesus and to reflect Jesus. So you group, plural, are connected to Christ. And you are blessed to be salt and to be light for others.